Okay, does anybody else feel like this was just a weirdly set up weekend? Uh, Hold on a second. Nope. I don't know why it's so zoomed in on me, but we're just gonna roll with it. I'll just sit a little lower today. But we got the playoff standings right now for this weirdly set up weekend, starting with the trucks right now. We're ending with the trucks, I should say. And here's what we got. Grant Enfinger and Ty Majeski, they're in the next round off of wins. Corey Heim and Christian Eckes have advanced off points. Carson Hocevar plus 56. Zane Smith plus 29. Matt Crafton plus 9. Nick Sanchez plus 3. The two that are out are Ben Rhodes minus 3 and Matty D minus 20. I tried making that rhyme more than it probably actually could have. But I'm gonna be honest. This is a weird ass weekend. A Sunday truck race. I don't remember the last time a truck race was the centerpiece of a weekend scheduled for a Sunday like this. I understand if not many people watch this race. I get it. They were like, it was right up against IndyCar. But I gotta say, having Milwaukee Mile back in NASCAR feels right. And I wish that it would have gotten a better placement, because being right after Daytona, I mentioned it last night on the post-race stream, and everyone was like, wait a minute, that's happening? Like, wait, there's a truck race tomorrow? I was like, yeah, there's a truck race tomorrow. It's Milwaukee. But is what it is. Let's look at the results for the 2023 Clean Harbors 175. It was 175 laps that went for 2 hours, 5 minutes, 53 seconds, with 5 lead changes among 4 leaders, 7 cautions on this wonderful Sunday afternoon. I believe it was like in the 60s up in Milwaukee, high 60s, low 70s. And I gotta say, earlier in the week, they were having a huge heat wave in the Midwest up there. So great timing for NASCAR. I can't remember the last weekend that hasn't had even a little threat of rain for any of the top 3 series, but here we are. Really quick, Irvin Alvarado, I want to thank you for the $5 super chat, saying I watched the Gran Turismo movie hours ago. Pretty good movie, 4.5 out of 5. The racing action was presented well, and aspects of sim player to pro real life. Well, good. I've heard it's pretty good. But let's look in from the movies and the sim side over to the real one. The results for this race today: Grant Enfinger proves that GMS is not going quietly into the night. They are going to keep fighting to the very end. And you know, speaking of fighting to the very end, I just want to remind y'all, we only have 5 truck races after this. We have Kansas in a few weeks, which for all 3 of those races, I plan to be live at the track after the race. We have Bristol, Talladega, Homestead, and Phoenix. So plenty of opportunities, though. Let's see, not plenty of opportunities, but good opportunities for more wins for GMS. But man, that is it's amazing how spread out the end of the season is. I know they fixed it a little bit this year, but if they can fix that up with a new contract, man, I would love to see. I mean, I'm looking at some of these races that they could be accompanying. I would love to see another Darlington truck race. I don't think that's too much to ask. Whether it's Roval or Oval, I want there to be a Charlotte one, because I think either or they'd race well. We can skip Texas. Las Vegas, I get that because of going so far out, but why are we not having a truck race at Martinsville? That seems like clear as day to do. I mean, that's a pretty close track too. So is what it is. The truck schedule is a bit of a mess, but Grant Enfinger, regardless of how it is, gets the win today over Carson Hocevar by 1.5 seconds. Great battle at the end there. Just had the better truck, better tires, better everything. For that finish, Christian Eckes in 3rd, Corey Heim 4th, 5th is Matt Crafton, 6th, Chase Purdy, Ty Majeski 7th, Derek Kraus 8th, 9th is Jake Garcia, Bailey Curry 10th, Tanner Gray 11th, Zane Smith 12th, Taylor Gray 13th, Raja Karuth, solid 14th place run after spending a lot of the day outside the top 20. Got better as the day went on. Dean Thompson with the 15th place finish. 16th goes to Ben Rhodes, Howard in 17th, Jones in 18th, Holmes in 19th, and Tyler Ankrum rounds out the top 20, followed by Lawless Allen, Haley Deegan 22nd, Hingarani in 23rd, Sanchez 24th, Matt Mills 25th. Sawalich, after running really well today, unfortunately finishes last car in the lead lap, 26th, after being involved in an accident. Matty D comes home 27th. Ultimately, the most struggling playoff guy of the day, 2 laps down. 2 laps down as well for Daniel Dye in 28th and Tyler Hill in 29th. Stuart Friesen comes home 30th, 3 laps down. Derek Lemke in 31st, 3 down. Boyd, 32nd, 3 down. Josh Ryum, last on the track, 4 laps down on the day in 33rd. Then Greg Van Alst finishes out of the race in 34th. Brad Perez, 35th. And Josh Bilicki, dead last on the day. And I'm seeing the bananas, the lobsters, the UFOs, everything in the chat. I love it. You know what? You know what's another one that we've done? See if we can spam some ghosts in there. You know? I'm with you, Irvin Alvarado. Bring trucks back to Chicagoland. Just reminding you guys, if you're in the Chicagoland area and around the track by any means, they are holding motocross races, playoff races in September. It is the same night as the Bristol night race. I will not be able to go to that, unfortunately, but that is something. Chicagoland Speedway is alive and well. I've been trying to tell people this for a while. Come on. Like, there you go. But as we go into the race really quick here, I want to leave y'all with a poll for how Milwaukee should be in NASCAR. How should Milwaukee be in NASCAR? And I'll give you 4 options of varying degrees here. By the way, while I'm doing this, I do want to thank y'all for how many of you guys came out last night after the Daytona race. That was a lot of fun. And let's get this poll out and have a little more fun. So we're going to go Trucks Xfinity, Trucks Xfinity Cup, or not at all. I personally, I didn't think it was too thrilling, but I thought it had some fun things about it. But that is Milwaukee. Milwaukee is not going to be a Bristol kind of NASCAR track. So here's what we got. But getting into this, Grant Enfinger starting the poll. I want to say this, compared to last night, way better national anthem, even if the mic wasn't working for the Grand Marshal. That was kind of funny to watch. By the way, click that like button while you're at it and sub if you're new. But solid crowd was on hand for this race. I'm guessing around maybe a little over 20,000, which I think is really good for a Truck Series standalone race, especially in Milwaukee. I believe they had the Brewers playing today. I don't know. I'm a Cubs fan. I don't care. But you know, there's competition. It's a Sunday. It's pretty much the last Sunday of summer other than Labor Day. So not a bad crowd at all. Not very bad at all. And I'm glad Wisconsin racing fans are still getting some push from NASCAR, I'll say. On lap 2, you had Majeski going down the pits for a penalty to start out the race. Really kind of put him down there from the get-go. He would charge, but he would never be a factor for the win like many of us thought he would be today. He was my pick to win. Ultimately didn't happen. Meanwhile, up front, it was Enfinger and Sanchez who fought for the lead for a bit, but ultimately it was Enfinger who dominated the first stage. Lap 10 had a caution for Josh Bilicki crashing with a flat tire. That's what brought him home in dead last. But stage 1 ended with Enfinger winning it over Sanchez second, Taylor Gray third, 4th is Heimtime, 5th Eckes, Hocevar 6th, 7th Sawalich, Kraus in 8th, Purdy 9th, and Rhodes coming home 10th in the first stage. Majeski in that stage went from 35th to 11th in under 40 laps. Looked like he had the truck to beat, but I think they made some adjustments that weren't good. Bad pit stops also did not help them. It was just all around a very messy and sloppy day, but luckily he's in the next round, no problem. In stage 2, you have a restart in immediate yellow. Looked like a hung throttle or a flat tire, something. Maybe the brakes went out, but Greg Van Alst goes straight up the track, right into Brad Perez. Nothing either of them could have done. I think they're both innocent victims in that. Sucks for both of them because every time they get a shot, you know, it's either they're stuck behind someone or like Greg Van Alst just has terrible luck every time he comes in. But we have a restart right after that. Heim gets the lead. It is Heim time for a moment in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. But honestly, after laps and laps of dogging him, 34 laps at that, I believe it was, Grant Enfinger would get past Heim, win stage 2 over him in second. Third was Eckes. Fourth, Hocevar Sawalwich in fifth. Sixth, Sanchez. Seventh, Majeski, which is about the highest Majeski got all day. Eighth, Matt Crafton. Tanner Gray, ninth, and Zane Smith, 10th. That's about the highest that Zane got all day, too. A very odd day for a lot of the favorites today. But final stage comes out. Enfinger and Majeski, they got pinned behind other trucks in the pits, brought them back a little bit. Didn't really affect Enfinger throughout the rest of the day, but it definitely hampered Majeski. Again, he just never could make anything work with this. With 57 to go, you have the restart. Hocevar gets the lead from Christian Eckes on the restart because of those problems. Majeski, though, has issues, goes wide, gets shuffled back even more. And we start having a bit of, I wouldn't say a wreck fest or a caution fest, but you start seeing the amount of cautions increase a lot. With 50 to go, you have Boyd going around. A restart comes out a couple laps later, only for Sawalwich to crash, which he was having a great day. I believe he was running in the top 10 when that happened. He's definitely somebody who's going to have a lot of potential going into the next. There's a lot of upside to Sawalwich, and they were pointing it out. I think he was, if I'm not mistaken, they said the last time they raced there, most of the drivers in the field, like him, were like little kids in elementary school. If my memory serves me right, I think I was 12 the last time that NASCAR raced at the Milwaukee Mile. I'm turning 26 this year. Damn, I'm turning 26. Anyway, with 36 to go, you have another restart, only for Sanchez to get spun in 3 and 4 by Heim. I don't think he was a fan of Heim time today. That ultimately put him back outside the top 20 in the final results. With 29 laps to go, you have the final restart, and there's 3 and 4 wide racing aplenty down the back. People are using different lanes. The high side is coming in. The low side still was pretty dominant. It was honestly a lot of fun. The track really came in as the day went on, and probably as the track got a little more hot. But that leads to Hocevar trying to run away with it. Derek Kraus in second. Grant Enfinger with better tires and a better truck in third. He is charging, gets past the 7 with 17 to go. It's a battle for the lead. Coming past the line to 16 to go. He dive bombs the corner, slide jobs it, overshoots Hocevar. I think last night. But overshoots him. They go side by side again. Contact in 3 and 4, but ultimately Enfinger gets away with the dub. And I think a statement win after the news this week. I mean, we've pretty much known for a little while that this is going to happen with GMS, but still, you know, it is disappointing because this is one of the best truck series teams ever, and that's what sucks about this whole deal. But still, I thought pretty solid race. I think this track belongs in NASCAR. I think a track with this much history, the oldest continually functioning speedway, I believe, in the world, and especially in America, that belongs in NASCAR. It's kind of the same argument I have with the history of the Nashville Fairgrounds and having that involved in NASCAR. I'm looking at what y'all are saying in here, and 52% of you are saying Trucks and Xfinity as the Milwaukee Mile. 26% say all three, 18% say truck only, and 4% say this track does not belong in NASCAR. But y'all, I want to point something out for you. We have only 2 months left of the season. We have 10 races left in Cup. I believe 8 races, I want to say, left in Xfinity, maybe 9. I have the freaking thing on me right now. I can check. Yeah, 9 races left in the Xfinity, 5 left in trucks. We are hitting the crunch time for the season, and this coming week with Darlington, Saturday and Sunday, Xfinity on Saturday, Southern 500 on Sunday. I think you're going to see intensity in all 3 series ratchet up even more and more and more. It sucks the truck schedule isn't as aligned. If the truck schedule could be, how do I put it? If the truck schedule could be spotty in different areas like it is at the end of the year. I would rather it be in the summer, and then there'd be more continuity with the championship. I don't like the idea of the truck playoffs lasting July to November. I don't like that, man. But as of next weekend, it will be a clean 2 months left of the year. And it's probably going to be a blast. I'm looking last little bit what you guys want to say in the chat, and then I am going to chill. I'm probably going to have an old race playing while I get my video for tomorrow ready. I will be in a different place for the post-race streams this coming weekend, going back up north. So probably the garage on Saturday. And then my fantasy football draft on Sunday. Darian will be there. I don't know how we're going to make it work because you can only have one person with this mic. But we'll make it work. Darian, one way or another, will be on some of these post-race streams this coming week. And the next week we'll be at Kansas. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So any last thoughts that you guys have for this race weekend, anything like that? Because the way I see it is outside of Wednesday, NASCAR Weekly Podcast on Darian's channel, Black Flags Matter, I'm closing the book on Daytona for the part. I'm glad that Priest is out. He's good. But, and we'll talk all about that. But other than that, I say we close the book on Daytona. It is on to Darlington, Kansas, Bristol, so on. I mean, it's just, yeah, I'm looking at it, and Xfinity is pretty good. The only one Xfinity doesn't race at with Cup is Talladega, and Trucks will be at that one. But Trucks will be off next week at Darlington. They will not race. Texas, which, let's be honest, less Texas racing, the better. The Roval, Las Vegas, and Martinsville. I hate that. This should seriously, yeah, the playoff 500 is what y'all are saying. The playoff 500. Let's see. Will Priest be out for the rest of the season for evaluation? Sounded like he wants to go back at it next week. Why no Xfinity Talladega? They usually only do one a year. I think it's in an effort so that they don't wreck too many cars, save the team's money. It's not like Cup where they have a lot of money to spend. They're very much on the margin. Playoff 500. I hate how the Southern 500 is now just playoff racing. It should be, honestly, I think it should start earlier in the day so it doesn't overlap with primetime college football. I might not be a fan of college football, but there are a lot of people in prime NASCAR zones that are going to watch their college football teams over NASCAR. That's just how it is now. Probably is how it's always been. Let's see. Yeah, put some respect on the Southern 500. I don't want it moved from the playoffs, but there needs to be some reverence for this race. What people don't remember, and I want to put, we can end off on this. What I want, I'm a moron. I didn't even put the results up on the screen. I got too busy damn ranting and all that. But I want to, I'll let it roll for a minute or two. But what I want to talk about with the Southern 500 is this race was bigger until about the 70s, I want to say, than the Daytona 500. This was the prime NASCAR race. When you look back through laps, money, everything having to do with the attendance, this was the big NASCAR race through the 50s, 60s, and into the 70s. And it had a great place to it. They got it, I think Darlington overall lost a lot of that luster for NASCAR in particular. Not maybe the fans, but NASCAR. They moved it into the playoffs into November in 2004. Then in 2005, moved it to Mother's Day weekend before 2015 moving it back. And I thought they had something with the throwback race, but I think the throwback race, honestly, no matter where it is on the schedule, is kind of dulled. But it's at the, it feels like the NASCAR and the networks are just like, oh yeah, it's a Darlington race. No, it's not just a Darlington race. This is one of the biggest races in our sport, and we treat it like it's a wild card round in football. I don't like that. I get that that's what it is, but the playoffs have proven they don't draw new people in. So you need to have something that maybe will draw older people in and new people. And marketing it as a crown jewel, especially back-to-back with Daytona, It's common sense. One, it should be on big NBC. It should be on primetime NBC if they can. That means moving it earlier in the day or moving it around or moving your football stuff, whatever it is. This race deserves to be in there. And I hope with the new contract that gets fixed. There's so many questions a new contract will answer. But I hate how it's been just shoved under the rug in a lot of ways and treated like any other race. It is a crown jewel race, and it's treated, honestly, it's treated now with less respect than the spring race, I think. At least when it comes to advertising and how the race itself is treated. The throwback race, in my opinion, gets more highlight by NASCAR and NASCAR media than the Southern 500 does, and I hate it. Because Darlington is such a good racetrack. Having been there now, too, I love it. Now, I'm kind of with David Bell. Do we see MTJ dominating? I don't know. There's, Larson is pretty good. Byron is pretty good. Chastain's pretty good. I think that this year's race is going to be wild. I will say that. I can't wait, but I don't really have too much more. Just join us on Wednesday night on Darian, Black Flags Matters channel. And we'll be live after every race that we can, and we'll have videos throughout the week, so sub if you're new, but I think that's going to cover it. Thank you guys for watching on a Sunday afternoon for a Truck Series race. I'll catch you all later, so have a good one.